everyone is doing well and ready for the royal show. All right, a lot to talk about today. This might actually be like an hour and a half, 2-hour podcast, so we'll see. Because there's quite a lot to get through. Thank you once again to everyone who came to the last podcast that I did, update on my little side project that I'm working on, and everyone who has been donating to that. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I will keep you updated. There's still a lot to get done, and I'm still going to be looking for investors, but I'll keep you updated. Right, let's see who's in the chat. I think I saw Puzzle Dot. Puzzle Dot, can you never change your avatar, please? It's actually my favorite for some reason. I don't know, that cute face. Hey, Marilyn, might be driving. Okay, I hope we don't say anything like too shocking. Focus on the road, please. Thank you for listening. Hey, Sean Jones, Louise, Fancy. Jazzbow, don't know if I've seen that name before. Oh, Hidley, hey. Electra, hey. Hey, Wendy. Thank you so much, Wendy. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm just trying. We'll see how far this goes. It's not easy, it's not cheap, because I'm trying to like look after myself and start a side hustle and in a foreign country that isn't mine. So there's process. It's a process. And I'm learning new things every single day. So we'll see where this goes. All right, let's start with... Where should we start? Should we start with some laughs? Should we start with William being heckled? Quite a few laughs in today's podcast. There's a lot to laugh at. So William and Kate are being forced out the house because Harry and Meghan are doing all the things, so they have to be seen as working. And you've also got the fallout from the Andrew situation. So they are throwing everything at the wall, and the best they have is William, I believe, ordering pasties. I don't know what annoys me about this more. The palace, with this out of touch, audacious, cringe PR. This is what apparently William paid Liza for. Liza Ravenscroft. This is what he apparently paid her for. To send him to a bakery and order pasties. This is what the crisis manager is getting paid tens of thousands for. And I don't know what I'm more mad at. How ridiculous this is. Or the people outside who are smiling and laughing along. I think I've said this before on this podcast, and I'll say it again, and I don't care who gets offended. I'm convinced that some people like their poverty and suffering. Because what do you mean you can't pay your bills, but you're here smiling at somebody who lives in luxury ordering pastries? What do you mean you can't afford a house or get on the property ladder, but here you are giggling away while the Prince William, soon to be king, who will live in grand estates for the rest of his life, is on the phone ordering pastries? What do you mean his uncle was friends with Epstein and protected from accountability because of his alleged abuse of minors, and you're out here giggling at William outside of the window because he's ordering pastries? I can't think of any other explanation than this, other than you like your poverty, you like your peasantry, and you like to be lesser than. You like to be a clown. You enjoy the self-clowning, because if you had any self-respect and you wanted better, you wouldn't be standing there giggling at this. This is pathetic. And this is not too long ago. We had a whole Channel 4 Dispatches documentary about how the royal property empire takes millions, using feudal levies to take money from schools, hospitals, homeowners, and charities they represent. There are parts of the UK where if you haven't died without a will, if you've died without a will, the king is able to get your money. Taking your taxpayers' money when you're alive and making sure to get the last cents when you're dead. Anyway, somebody out there on those streets had some sense and tried to give it to William. Now look at what happened. I'm going to play some footage.
How long have you known about Andrew? How long have you known about Andrew?
Spoil it.
Spoil what? I'm just asking a question.
It's a pleasant visit. Why you would want to ask him that question at this particular time? Why you were
It's the only chance I get to speak to him. I've never had a chance to speak to him before, and I wanted to know the answer.
What were you looking to get from that question then?
Oh, he hopes for an answer, but didn't get it.
No, not at all. You don't want, do you want to give me your details? No. You don't? Right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Don't play it again.
How long have you known about Andrew? How long have you known about Andrew?
Spoil it.
Spoil what? I'm just asking a question.
It's a pleasant visit. Why you would want to ask him that question at this particular time? Why you were
It's the only chance.
So let's just break that down. Let's just break down how ridiculous that was. The lady in the background, the patriarchy handmaiden, the pick Misha ass clown in the background. Oh, don't ruin it. Why'd you have to ask about that? We have to be asking those questions, lady. Why aren't you asking those questions? Why are you here fawning over someone who is protecting and harboring an offender? Why do you have to ask about that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then the police officer questioning the protester instead of marching down to Royal Lodge or wherever it is Andrew is at the moment. We don't even know where he is. We're all distracted by the beginning of World War III. We don't even know where Andrew is anymore. Instead of marching to find wherever Andrew is and arresting him, as he should, as somebody who is meant to be protecting the public, is out here questioning a protester. And he looked like a very dim person as well. I'm sorry to say it. Don't know who they're hiring in the police force these days. What do you even say to that? Well, what else can I say? I said what I said. Let's see what you're saying in the comment section. Like, people just have no backbone. And as if it wasn't embarrassing, the way she tried to play down what the man was saying, asking William about Andrew. I mean, even just the fact that these people showed up there was pathetic. Heather, if the royal family redistributed their wealth, there would be no cost of living crisis. Well, it's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of wealth being harbored by a handful of people and money that could be going to better the majority's lives just being held by that group of people. Oh, and bad governance from the government as well. Because the government could step in and do that. Of course, it would take more than just that, but for sure, what we spend on the royals could be going to something better. Oh, hey Lauren, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for your tips earlier in the last podcast. Hey Connie Balmer. Hey Heather, thank you everyone for streaming in Cookies and Cream. Hey. Yeah, the peasants telling their fellow man to be quiet. I mean, these people will show up to see a royal. They won't show up to the local soup kitchen at the homeless shelter. They won't take a can of beans to the food pantry. Anyway, Right, there's some more things to laugh at. Hardy ha ha ha, because there will be no Commonwealth service on the BBC. My guess... Oh, got the wrong slide up, sorry. My guess is that the ratings have been plummeting since Harry and Meghan left. That's probably the last time they actually got decent ratings. And then people just lost interest. Hang on a sec, folks. Can't seem to find my notes. Where are we now? Ah, here we are. Right, let's read this article by Feminagra. Yes, BBC has scrapped the Commonwealth Day broadcast and monarchists are furious. I mean, there's only a handful of events a year. Oh, sorry about that noise. There's only a handful of events a year where the royals now get massive coverage. And it's like Commonwealth Day, Trooping, Kate when she shows up to Wimbledon. It's like a cycle, Ascot. And so this is definitely a big blow. Won't get to see Kate in a coat dress. But seriously, who is even watching this? It's the same thing every single year. Yeah, they try to add a little bit of culture to it, obviously, Commonwealth. But who's interested in this? I don't think I've ever watched... Well, the only time I ever watched was when Harry and Meghan went. And even then, I didn't watch the whole thing. So the BBC has quietly scrapped its live broadcast of the royal family's annual Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey. You know what? The next thing, just scrap the whole Commonwealth. It was colonisation 2.0 wrapped up and given over with a fancy bouquet in the first place. And the usual royal commentators are absolutely furious about it. Instead of airing the ceremony, BBC will show an episode of Escape to the Country. Yes, really. So this is how bad it is. They know, based on their ratings, that Escape to the Country is going to get more views than the royal family's Commonwealth Day broadcast. Imagine that. Just imagine that. For decades, the broadcaster televised the service as one of the monarchy's big annual calendar events. But amid funding pressures and budget cuts, the BBC has decided not to air the ceremony live this year. Royal commentators are treating the decision like some kind of constitutional crisis. Here's part of how the story has been reported. The BBC has scrapped its live broadcast of next Monday's Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey, opting instead to air an episode of Escape to the Country. The national broadcaster attributed the decision to budgetary constraints. A BBC spokesman defended the scheduling change, saying, "The move reflects the difficult choices we have to make in light of our funding challenges." BBC will still cover the service across its platforms, including bulletins and the rolling news channel. Royal author and Majesty magazine editor Ingrid Stewart condemned the move, calling it a ridiculous and appalling decision. Listen, these things are based on figures. Viewing figures. If people all of this time had been watching the Commonwealth service, they wouldn't have scrapped it. If there are viewers, it means more advertising money is coming in. Oh, actually, no. Well, not on the BBC. But if there are more viewers and the ratings are there, they will air the show. So really, this is all down to people are not interested. Why are you furious at the BBC for just making a business decision? Because that business decision is weighed up against actual data. Be mad at the royalists who are clearly not even watching this anymore. That's who you should be mad at. Be mad at other royalists. Don't be mad at the BBC and the rest of us. She argued the ceremony is the most important date in the diary for celebrating the Commonwealth. I'll be surprised if Ingrid Stewart can name 5 Commonwealth countries. Trying to make this about, oh, I'm so sad because the Commonwealth won't be celebrated. Girl, please. Can she name 5 Commonwealth countries? The Westminster Abbey service has taken place annually since 1972. Really? Shows how little I knew. And has been televised by the BBC since 1989. Okay, well then it's an old relic that just needs to go. There, it's settled. It brings together representatives from the Commonwealth's 56 member states, with Charles serving as head of the organisation. Charles and Camilla are expected to attend alongside William and Kate, with around 1,800 guests in the congregation, including High Commissioners, officials, and figures from the creative industries. So here's the reality check. The hysterical reaction to this decision is just hilarious. Royal commentators are acting as if the BBC just cancelled Christmas. Listen, outside of a very small group of monarchists and royal reporters, absolutely nobody is sitting around anxiously waiting to watch a televised church service featuring the royal family. First of all, the royal family shouldn't be in church. The only building they should be is in a courthouse. I'm surprised they don't combust every time they walk into a church. All them skeletons in that closet walking into God's house. The idea that millions across the Commonwealth are desperate to tune in and watch the British monarchy celebrate itself is quite frankly delusional. And you know what? I don't think this service has been a thing that is watched in the Commonwealth probably since 1972, whatever it was aired. I've never known this service to be something that's hugely popular in Commonwealth countries. It barely makes a blip on any given year, other than when Meghan came into the picture. And that's the same for trooping, it's the same for anything else. I don't remember growing up watching the Commonwealth service ever. Not even trooping, to be honest. I think in terms of main royal events that I can remember, the Jubblies. The golden, the silver, the diamond, whatever. And the royal wedding. Kate and William's wedding. I've never really watched royal events. I don't know anybody else that really watches royal events outside of that. And the differences in viewing figures between those main events and everything else, incredibly wide. The Commonwealth includes countries that were once colonised by Britain. Many of those nations are currently debating whether to remove the monarchy entirely. Yeah, but they still want to have their Commonwealth service. Several already have. The notion that viewers in places like Jamaica, India or South Africa are glued to their televisions waiting to watch a royal service from Westminster Abbey is pure fantasy indeed. At this point in time, people are glued to their social media feeds, praying and hoping the absolute madness going on right now stops. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking at this. If anything, this is a symbol of the absolute inequality, power structures that need to break down, that have unbalanced this world. Why would anybody be interested in watching this with everything going on in the world? Oh, let me just indulge in some escapism by watching Kate in yet another coat dress. And the outrage from Ingrid Stewart is very amusing. This is the same royal commentator who confidently predicted that Harry and Meghan would divorce within 5 years of their wedding. So her track record on judging royal relevance is questionable, highly. At the end of the day, this feels like a reality check instead of a crisis. The BBC has limited resources and broadcasters are making choices about what audiences actually want to watch. Apparently, a couple looking for a cottage in the Scottish countryside beat out the royal family's annual Commonwealth church service. Honestly, fair enough, indeed. Hilarious. And if that country house show can beat out the king, his heir, and the wife, yeah, people aren't interested anymore. They definitely aren't interested anymore. Let's see what y'all have to say. Jean, you said, and the crazy bizarre thing is that was a lady having a comment about that man asking Prince Thumbhead about Randy. It's just sick indeed. asking a perfectly relevant question that needs to be asked. We need to start in whenever one of these things happens, somebody in the crowd needs to get a camera and ask that person, why did you say what you said when that heckler was asking a perfectly relevant questions? Why did you feel the need to try to stop them or be rude to them instead of addressing the matter at hand? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't really want to talk about how a royal prince was possibly abusing children. It's going to ruin my day. It should ruin your day. It should be what you're thinking about. It should be what you're upset about. Total cult mentality. The next escort in the monarchy will all be scrapped. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know about when or how the monarchy is going to be scrapped or anything like that, but I think that William, however long or short it is going to have a very uncomfortable kingship from the beginning. I mean, we're bringing in a royal crisis officer now to try and clean up a mess, but messes keep being made. And apparently, the ironclad strategy that Liza Ravenscroft has is to send William to a bakery. Can't make it up. Well, they are trying their very darn hardest to try to seem relatable, connect with people in communities that they tend to ignore or pretend to like. Kate was at an event in Leicester that has a very big South Asian community, dancing around. Apparently, she has had a lot of Botox. I actually can't tell. And it's difficult to tell with Kate because they airbrush a lot of her pictures. But I trust Kaiser at Celebrity, and she's saying that she had a lot of Botox. She actually looks pretty good here. It's appropriate for the event. Culturally appropriate. So it's a well put together look, because I think if you're trying to find something that's culturally appropriate, well, you can't really go wrong. Like, you just wear something that's aligned with whatever that person in that culture would usually wear. But if she's trying to style herself, this is where we get into difficulty, because we spent all of our time stalking Meghan, so we don't have our own sense of style. And before it was stalking Meghan, it was copying our late mother-in-law. Now, in other news, Fergie. Let's talk about Fergie, Andrew, and the other part of this messy family. Apparently, publishers are trying to get a book deal from her. There is absolutely no way, however scandalous, I would read a book by Fergie. Now, if you want to give me a 2-hour Netflix special where she spills the dirt on this entire nasty family, yeah, that I'll watch. Who doesn't want to watch that? Spill the tea. But read a whole book by Fergie? I wouldn't even listen to the audio with the speed on ×4. No, thank you. I'm not wasting my time like that. Yeah, the damage to the monarchy's popularity from the Andrew Epstein scandal. Yeah. They're trying to make it seem like nothing to see here. We're just going to carry on. Send Anne to a quiz factory. Send William to a bakery. Completely out of touch. Yeah, they won't be clean until they address the harbouring of Andrew and exiling Sussexes. But if they are to address the harbouring of Andrew with honesty, it will land them in deep-ish. Avid Reader, you said, as head of the BAFTAs, has William addressed the verbal insults directed at Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan? Per Willie, they are very much not a racist family. But if it walks like a duck, no, he has not. He has not addressed that at all. An absolute coward he is. All right, let's have a read about this with Fergie's, one of Fergie's daughters. I think this is Beatrice. Yes, Beatrice. The husband, well, the well that he was enjoying drinking from has dried out. So Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank, who are not pictured here. This is Beatrice and her husband, but I'm just reading from the article. Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank seem to have a good marriage. They dated for years. They seem well matched, and Jack has always worked and done his own thing. Several years back, he got a great job in Portugal, which came with an added benefit of his own family home in a wider luxury resort complex. Eugenie now splits her time between Portugal and England, and she seems to have one foot out of the door of royal life. Princess Beatrice, however, is another story. She was basically set up with Eduardo Mapelli Mosey, who quickly left his fiancée and baby mother Dara for Beatrice. Okay, this is news to me. I don't really follow these other ones, so I don't know about the baby mama drama. The ghetto. They had a rushed pandemic wedding, and Edo, that's the husband, always seemed to enjoy being married to a princess and the added visibility that came along with that. Well, the visibility has taken a turn in the past year, and now there are rumours that Edo and Beatrice's marriage is suffering because of it. It seems like Edo has been far from England for the past month and a half as well. He has apparently been spending time at the Fisher Island Club, an ultra-exclusive enclave off the coast of Miami, Florida, accessible only by ferry or private yacht. The island has attracted A-list celebrities, including Julia Roberts, Oprah Winfrey, and Mel Brooks. He shared glimpses of his visit on Instagram this week, posting images from the beach as well as footage from a building site. On Wednesday, his Instagram stories included video filmed from a small plane flying above the island. It is understood the father of 3 traveled to Florida in a professional capacity to speak at a panel at Palm Beach. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like separated or anything if he was there for a reason. But I would imagine that with everything that's going on, he is questioning where he is being married to Beatrice. Because it is rather an embarrassment, the way in which Beatrice, Eugenie have been tied up into this whole drama with their mum and their dad. Embarrassing and questionable, some parts. Edo loves Beatrice, of course, apparently, and has no plans to leave. Okay, we'll see about that. But his family are not so compassionate and is preparing for the worst. A friend of Edo said Andrew's arrest could damage business prospects and family reputation. Of course. And with more email releases to come, they want Edo away from that family entirely. See, even when the men marry into this family, it's messy. A whole mess. Also, it's saying that Beatrice and the kids were probably in Florida with Edo anyway. Just article says, I also believe that Edo's family is probably really upset about how this has turned out. To be fair, it seems like Edo's mother had a hand in putting Edo and Beatrice together. This was practically an arranged marriage. Edo thought his business would get a boost from marrying a princess. Instead, his father-in-law just got arrested. And it looks like Edo wants to get the hell away from this entire issue. Indeed. Indeed. Nobody who was married into this family has done so unscathed. Toxic. Toxic, toxic, toxic. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay. I think that's all I had to cover for today's story, I think. Let me just... Nope. That is pretty much it. Thank you. Oh, I actually thought... I don't know why I thought this podcast was going to go on for longer. You know me, I like to get to the point. Alright, I'll just finish with your comments and then we will wrap things up. Thank you so much, folks. Resistors, hey, hey. Thank you for being here. Your presence is appreciated. Edo is worried about losing the perks he gained marrying into the British royal family if he's exiled, indeed. But at this point, I feel like those perks and benefits aren't even worth it. So, he's, in the long run, I think he's gaining more by leaving. And I don't even know if he has gained that much more just because he married Beatrice. Like, if the point was, oh, I'm going to boost my business connections or whatever. I mean, I barely know Edo what he does. I don't know what family business he has. I don't know anything. Millie, you said, yeah, Beatrice has 2 little girls and Edo has a son, Wolf, with his former girlfriend. He did seem to enjoy being around the royal family during the Christmas walk. And some of these people, it's like attention is their cocaine. So yeah, they love all the glory and the glitz and the glamour when things are going good. But when ish starts to hit the fan the way it is now, there's nowhere to run and hide. Carter, yes, we are finishing up. Sorry about that. You can watch the replay. All right. I think we will end things there. Thank you so much for coming by, everyone. Appreciate you so much. Enjoy the weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.